and I see over and over again, long-term relationships. Like the minute you stop courting her, you're in a downward spiral.
What do you mean courting?
Making time for her, complimenting her, opening doors for her. The same kind of behavior that you engaged in the first 6 months you were together. Or are you paying attention to her? When's the last time you took her out on a date? People are talking about the secret to long-term relationships, long-term marriages. No matter how many kids you got to have a date night. That's an aspect of continuing to court. All of the communication a man used to woo her. Did you stop 6 months in, a year in, 3 years in? Interesting, which is very common. In Neil's book, he talks about girl who's been married 3 years. Most likely, if she's going to cheat on a spouse. Why? Dude's not paying attention to her anymore. He's treating her like she's part of the furniture. When was the last time he bought her a gift spontaneously, brought her flowers, did anything got her anything if it wasn't her birthday? Bought her flowers for any reason if it wasn't her birthday or a special occasion. I mean, courting, you're you're bringing her flowers. You're thinking of ways to surprise her, keep her engaged, make her feel valued, just the same way you did the first 6 months. So if you're doing that, like, you got an advantage with a beautiful, successful, attractive woman because ain't no other guy out there doing that. They're giving her 6 months of attention, and then they're going back to watching a ball game.
Yeah, I would agree with that completely.
Okay, what about negotiating in a relationship if there's a situation like the woman gets emotional over something that's like relatively small? Because this is something I know is very common. A lot of the male viewers, maybe even female viewers, they're familiar in their own relationships with something like this, where they're getting like thrown off by something that's small, and the guy is trying to understand, like, how would you even
We're making this all about the woman here. And also, the guy could be emotional too.
Well, it's
when the other
small to you.
person's
I mean,
emotional.
what's small to you? If you're upset about something, and I'm communicating to you that it's a small thing, what am I communicating to you?
It's more of a talking down.
Yeah. Like, even if it is, for me to communicate to you that it's a small thing, it's talking down. It's not complimentary. It's not supportive. So small things are usually indicators of accumulations of other stuff. And so there's been a bunch of stuff that's accumulated, and the human being on the other side is focusing on an individual triggering event, when in point of fact, there's a bunch of stuff that have contributed to it. I mean, the realization that's kind of human nature. I'm an assertive. And what does that mean? That means I snap at people occasionally. And if the people that work for me, like the fifth thing that's gone wrong in a day, you're probably getting a text from me that's going to be pretty harsh or pretty critical. And I've come to find out, the first thing that went wrong in a day, I have to watch myself, because in a succession of day where a number of little things have gone wrong, whoever happened to be the unfortunate recipient to be part of the fifth little thing is probably going to trigger my anger and frustration from all the stuff that happened that day. And so me just being aware of that, I'll call him back. I'll follow on. I'm like, look, I overreacted. This was a small thing, but this has been a whole accumulation of stuff that's not your fault. So I will try to at least own it. But the flip side is, if somebody's been triggered over a small thing, that's the tip of the iceberg. There's been a bunch of things that has gone bad. And so your job is to recognize that if in fact a thing that is manifesting itself is small, there's been a whole bunch of other stuff that have gone into that. And so consequently, it's not really small for the other side.